lately. Safety. It feels harder to really name, doesn't it?
It really does. Like the world's constantly shifting under our feet. Feels uncertain.
Yeah, exactly. And you're just bombarded with news, right? All the unrest, the divisions. It can leave you feeling pretty anxious.
Like belonging itself is fragile, that low hum of unease.
Mm-hmm.
It's easy to feel that.
Mm. But what if? What if safety isn't really about waiting for the world out there to just, calm down?
Right.
What if it's something we can actually cultivate, like inside ourselves,
Yeah.
regardless of the chaos?
Well, that's what's so fascinating here. Our sources, they challenge that whole external idea pretty directly.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they suggest safety isn't found when the world finally behaves. It's found when the mind learns how to steady itself.
Okay, that's a big shift in perspective.
It's core to what we're digging into today. Really counterintuitive for many of us.
Absolutely.
Huh.
It completely flips the script on how we usually think about finding security, doesn't it?
Mm-hmm.
So for this deep dive, our mission really is to unpack how. How do we cultivate that inner steadiness?
We'll look at this really personal journey detailed in the sources you shared.
Right, and pull out the practical wisdom from that. So you, listening, can find that sense of refuge even when things feel, completely chaotic.
Okay, so where do we start? The material first looks at how we often get it wrong, right? Searching for safety in external things.
Yeah, believing if everything out there lines up perfectly, then we'll be safe.
Exactly. And the personal story in the sources, it's a perfect illustration of that illusion.
Tell us about that.
Well, this individual, they had what most people would call success, the whole package.
Like what?
Commuting 2-3 hours a day, long hours in finance, then entrepreneurship, the golf club lifestyle, living in the quote-unquote right neighborhood.
Okay, so outwardly,
Yep.
It looks like stability, accomplishment, security.
Totally. What society defines as safety,
Oh, internally.
internally, complete terror. That's how the sources describe it.
Wow. Terror of what?
Terrified of not belonging, especially as a person of color. Terrified of not being accepted, of falling behind, of waking up one day filled with regret.
That sounds intense.
And it wasn't just vague anxiety, it was deep, fed by these parents' fearful voices constantly saying,
Work harder, make money, keep up.
exactly, don't slip or you'll lose it all. It created this visceral fear, like ending up discarded. A bag lady on the street was the phrase used.
So the chase for external safety was actually driven by profound insecurity.
Precisely. And that leads to this huge realization in the sources.
Which is?
That beneath all that external chaos, all that striving, it wasn't the world destroying peace.
Almost.
It was the mind, the projections, the stories we tell ourselves about what might happen, the endless doom scrolling, spinning shadows into storms.
So the external stuff was hard, no doubt, but the real peace destroyer was internal.
That's the insight.
So after that realization, which sounds pretty jarring, the sources talk about this act of rebellion.
Yeah, a big one. Deciding to leave that entire life, move to Ecuador.
Wow, just pack up and go.
Not easy, apparently. Described as an act of trust, untangling from the material stuff, seeking a new culture, a new way of being, a new relationship with self, really.
Okay, but what does that mean for the rest of us, for the listener? Does everyone need to move?
And that's the crucial point the sources make explicit. It's not about geography. It's not about running away.
Right.
The core lesson learned in Ecuador was about something else entirely.
Which was?
Learning to listen to my mind and body in a new and more mindful way, stepping out of conformity, not just moving out.
That's such an important distinction, so you don't have to pack up and move across the world.
No, absolutely not. Safety isn't some privilege for those who can just walk away from their lives.
Okay.
It is, and the sources really stress this, a practice, a discipline.
Of what?
Of returning to yourself, wherever you are, with whatever you have.
So for you listening, it might be closing the laptop an hour early.
Yeah, or pausing to breathe instead of checking the news again. Those small, intentional acts.
They start to rewire your internal experience of safety.
Exactly. Self-care, self-trust.
But okay, the sources say the real work started after stepping away from the old life.
Right.
What did that actually look like, practicing finding safety when the old structures were gone?
Well, initially, pretty terrifying, according to the material, encountering raw, unfiltered fear.
Because the distractions were gone.
Precisely. The inner turmoil became unavoidable. The sources describe physical sensations: tight chest, racing heart, fluttering belly.
That sounds like panic.
Yeah, the thought was overwhelming. I would go crazy or die. A really intense confrontation with that inner stuff.
Something maybe many of us can relate to when we actually stop doing and just sit with ourselves.
But then the sources immediately offered the solution that emerged.
Which was?
Amidst the terror, the discovery was, practice saved me. Mindfulness, awareness, the breath.
So that was the lifeline, the turning point.
Yes. And the core mindfulness approach described is, well, simple but profound.
How so?
Every time fear swelled, I turned toward it instead of running.
Toward it, not away.
Toward it. Noticed the sensations. Stayed with them gently. Breathed until, as it says, body and mind found each other again.
So the insight isn't just that sensations pass?
No, it's that by turning towards them, we change our whole relationship with fear. We find this resilience we didn't know we had.
And the discovery.
These sensations are not permanent. They rise and fall. They cannot kill me. I don't need to fear them.
Okay, so the mind spins the story.
But the breath steadies the body.
And when the breath steadies the body.
The mind starts to soften. It's a feedback loop. Physical calm helps create mental peace. It dissolves the illusion that the fear itself is the danger.
That's powerful.
Absolutely. And this led to understanding true safety.
Which isn't?
Not in the paycheck, not in approval from others, not in promotions, possessions, the fleeting applause. In this, the middle way, the body as sanctuary, the breath as anchor, and the mind, both the storm and the shelter.
The middle way. That sounds Buddhist.
Yeah, the sources explore that connection. It's not about compromise, but finding balance. Not tasting pleasure, not avoiding pain, but finding equanimity within life's constant changes.
Okay, but some people hear mindfulness and think, maybe it sounds too soft, impractical, a luxury.
Or too passive, maybe, when the world seems to demand action.
Right. How do the sources address that?
Head on. For the person in this story, it was stated very clearly. For me, it was survival.
Survival.
The only tool strong enough to keep me steady in chaos, to help me face fear without collapsing. And the purpose isn't escaping the world, staying sane enough to keep caring for it. So it's pragmatic, empowering, not some esoteric retreat.
And you don't need a special place. Right?
Yeah.
The sources really emphasize its accessibility.
Totally. Not bound to monasteries or mountaintops or silent retreats. It can be practiced anywhere.
Like where?
Vivid examples. On the subway, strangers pressed against you. In a tense meeting, voices sharpen around the table.
Wow.
At a family dinner, old wounds stir, even in the grocery store line.
So it's about bringing awareness into the everyday messiness.
Exactly. Which leads to what the sources call the quiet revolution.
Meaning?
That awareness. You can carry it into traffic jams, into politics, into grief, into those ordinary moments where everything screams at you to rush or react.
So mindfulness doesn't take you out of life?
No. It roots you deeper in it. Steady, present, alive.
Okay, so we're steadier inside, but we still have to interact with the world, right? Which often feels, well, precarious, divisive. So what does this internal work mean for how we live and connect out there?
Yeah, that's the crucial next step. The scope of safety broadens beyond just you.
Oh, so.
The sources say safety is not found in isolation. Makes sense. But neither is it found in the validation of others.
So it's cultivated inside.
And strengthened in community. Community acts like a mirror, shows our shared humanity, reminds us we're not alone.
And offers practical support.
Right. Examples given are friends who listened, teachers who reminded me that the mind can be trained, books that became companions. That external scaffold is vital for internal strength.
And this inner work leads to personal transformation.
Profoundly so, according to the sources. Quieting those fearful voices, stopping the chase for approval.
And finding
a deeper self, not the self that performs, but the self that sits still and lets what is real find me.
How does this change engagement with difficult external things, like current events? That feels very relevant now.
Hugely relevant. The sources describe a shift. Now, when reading headlines, hearing the political noise, the person remembers, outrage is addictive, fear is intoxicating.
Easy to get swept up.
But the choice is there. I don't have to be consumed. Now, the sources specifically describe headlines being thick with division, how voices are weaponized against immigrants, people of color, anyone labeled different or woke, and how, from the perspective in the sources, people of color, immigrants, anyone called different, anyone labeled woke, is turned into threats by those in power.
So the sources are highlighting this perception of rhetoric used to create fear and division.
Exactly. And how easy it is to get caught in that reaction. But this inner steadiness allows for a different response.
And this wasn't just about finding personal peace, right? The sources are clear on that.
Very clear. Leaving finance, leaving the business, leaving conformity. It wasn't just an escape from inner pain.
It was also
A search for meaning, a longing to be of service, because, as the sources put it, money is never enough.
right.
Buddhism calls it compassion, others call it purpose. The sources describe it as survival and being of benefit to others, a shift from just self-preservation to contribution.
It really keeps coming back to that core message, doesn't it?
It does.
The body is my sanctuary. The breath is my anchor.
The mind, when turned toward awareness, is not the storm, it is the shelter. It's the practical framework.
And part of that framework involves looking at media consumption.
Yes, a critical look. Noticing, as the sources say, how easily my mind was hijacked by endless headlines, by doom scrolling, by voices that fed my fear.
Which leads to...
Choosing what I allow into my mind, setting boundaries.
And the benefit.
When I limited my news, my nervous system literally exhaled. A shift from hypervigilance to calm. It's about intentionality, curating information, not just reacting.
The sources also had a really interesting take on anger, which is everywhere right now, it seems.
Yeah, and the reframe is powerful. See anger not as something to drown in or suppress,
But is...
as a flare pointing toward what I care about.
Oh, okay. Like a signal.
Exactly. The practice is asking what value is being touched here. When you ask that, the sources say the anger softens. It becomes fuel for purposeful action, not just consuming rage.
Transforms a destructive emotion into a constructive one. So this brings up a really important question for you, listening.
Yeah.
In a world that feels so divided, how do we resist injustice without becoming hardened, without becoming like the thing we resist?
It's a tough one. The wisdom from the sources, drawing on Buddhist practice, offers this. No one is irredeemable, though many are mistaken.
Okay.
When I meet others with compassion, I resist without becoming what I resist. It's about maintaining that inner sanctuary, even while engaging with difficult realities. Purposeful engagement without falling into the division itself.
It really drives home that idea that so much of our suffering comes from what we feed our minds.
Absolutely. Choosing pauses, clarity, even joy and stillness, instead of letting outrage and fear take over. It's an active choice every day.
Okay, this is all incredibly powerful, really thought-provoking. But what's genuinely fascinating, I think, for our listeners too, is how it points to tangible things we can do.
Right, the practical application.
Yeah. So for someone listening who wants to bring this into their daily life, what are some concrete, actionable practices from the sources?
Okay, yeah. The sources give a great set called Practices for Unsafe Times, really designed for immediate use.
Let's walk through them.
First, mindful breathing. Simple but key when panic hits. One hand on your chest, one on your belly.
Okay.
Breathe until they rise and fall together, and whisper to yourself, I am here. I will not abandon you.
That self-assurance, I am here for you, that feels profoundly safe in itself.
It is. You're showing up for yourself. Second, ground through the senses. When fear floods your mind, anchor in the body.
How?
Name 5 things you see. 4 you can touch. 3 you hear. 2 you smell. 1 thing you taste.
Ah, the 5, 4, 3, 2, 1 technique.
Exactly. Pulls you right back to the present. Cuts through the mental noise. The body remembers, I'm here now.
Okay, what's next?
Limit media consumption. We touched on this. Too much news is like poison. Stay informed, sure, but set boundaries.
Like a specific time of day, or just a few trusted sources.
Both work. The point is to let your nervous system exhale. Curate consciously. Prevent that constant hypervigilance.
Makes sense. Fourth,
Stay connected. This is crucial. Isolation deepens fear.
so reach out.
Yeah. Friends, community, volunteering, even just sharing a meal. Safety is not built alone. That external support bolsters internal resilience, reminds you you're part of something.
Okay. And number 5.
Engage in meaningful action. When anxiety feels overwhelming, do one thing, small or large, that aligns with your values.
Like what? Writing a letter. Volunteering.
Or just showing kindness to someone. Anything. Action restores agency. It shifts you from passive worry to active purpose.
I like that. Restores agency. Okay, what else?
Rest and joy and stillness, so important. Balance the world's heaviness with things that nourish you.
Walks in nature.
Yeah.
Sitting quietly.
Candles at dawn, laughter with a friend, whatever works. These moments replenish courage. They're not luxuries, they're essential fuel.
Got it. Keep the tank full.
Then remember impermanence. This is big. Every sensation, every fear, every wave of uncertainty arises and passes.
Nothing is forever.
Right. What feels unbearable now can become the doorway back to peace. It provides perspective. And finally,
Some pocket mantras. Short phrases for a quick anchor when you need it.
Like,
Fear is a thought. Refuge is a breath. Or, the same mind that spins storms can weave a shelter.
oh, I like that one.
Also, I am here, I am safe, I am not alone. And simply, this moment is enough, this breath is home.
These aren't just nice ideas, are they? They feel like vital, practical tools.
Exactly. For cultivating inner refuge, for arriving here now, truly present.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a crucial nuance here, too. We need to remember, safety is both inner and outer.
Meaning?
Inner refuge never means staying in actual danger. Sometimes the very first bravest step is leaving harm, reaching for help, finding allies.
So the inner work empowers us to make those necessary outer changes.
Precisely, they work together.
So bringing this all together, what have we ultimately learned from this deep dive? Finding safety when the world feels so uncertain.
I think the overarching wisdom is really clear. Safety doesn't come from the world behaving perfectly.
Right. Or from people treating us exactly as we think we deserve. No. Safety comes when we learn to stay with ourselves, to honor anger as that messenger, to let go when carrying the story just hurts more.
Trusting the body's whisper before the mind makes excuses.
Yeah. It's an active, daily choice. Inner work.
And maybe you, listening, are learning this too. That safety isn't always loud or obvious.
Sometimes it's just a quiet exhale in the dark.
When you choose yourself, without apology. If your voice shakes sometimes, if your boundaries tremble, if you forget and remember and forget again.
You're not failing, you're practicing.
You are not too late for your healing.
Yeah.
You are arriving. Here. Now.
In the only place you ever needed to begin. Inside yourself.
So in these unsafe times, the raft isn't somewhere out there waiting.
No. The raft is the practice. Awareness, compassion, inner trust. It's the choice, again and again.
To return to the river of our own being.
And build a home inside that no storm can wash away.
That's a powerful image to end on. And speaking of journeys, our sources actually hinted at another really fascinating story from Ecuador.
Yeah.
About a crowded bus ride. A surprising lesson about identity. It starts with strangers, misrecognition, and apparently the phrase, "Book 'em, Dano."
Oh, okay. You have my attention. Sounds intriguing.
We will definitely dive into that one next time.